Well, good morning and welcome to Wake Up in the Word. Thank you for joining me today. Grab a good stout cup of coffee or whatever you drink in the mornings to wake up and your Bible. Let's look at Psalm 143. Psalm 143. Thanks for joining me. Mm. Today I'm drinking out of the Peanuts cup with Snoopy and Woodstock on it. Need just a little something to make me smile, don't you? Because, like a lot of folks, you may be feeling a little bit down, maybe a little bit depressed. Maybe you're struggling today. This is a psalm from David, the last of the penitential psalms, one where he was obviously struggling. We'll see what he did to focus his mind, heart, soul, and spirit in the right direction so he could move forward and he could make it. So I think we all need that today. And as far as a title for Psalm 143, John Phillips actually titles it with one word. He uses the word depression. Depression. I don't like that title because it focuses on the negative background of the psalm, not the answer. So, my title for this particular psalm comes from verse 6. I just say, I spread out my hands to you, O Lord. That's kind of the title I choose for this psalm today. Let's look at it and see just how David is feeling and how he's wrestling with those feelings. Because for many of us today, if you focus on the negative, what's causing your depression, you'll only grow deeper and darker into it. And as we look at what's going on in the world today, we are jumping back and forth between perhaps cabin fever, having been trapped during this COVID 19 outbreak, to now where many of our states or countries are letting us back out into public. There's this fear to once again engage with people. And every time we see a new story on our news feed, perhaps about, in our case here recently, another meat plant has closed. This time it belongs to Tyson. Over 100 of the workers have COVID 19 and we're shutting down. We're not so much afraid for those workers as we are afraid we can't have fried chicken for Sunday dinner. We are, but all kind of new fears that just pop out. We saw the story of a Walmart where over 2 dozen of the employees were found to have COVID 19 and they had to close the Walmart. Well, for those of you who don't know where we're broadcasting from, that's no big deal for us. They closed our Walmart 4 years ago when we had an economic downturn. But listen, friends, those kind of fears shouldn't be what's driving us. Staying away from all the negative headlines. Matter of fact, headlines for many people, these news agencies that report them, they have to be negative to draw attention. And as you feed on that while you're trapped inside, it just leads you to a deeper, darker depression. Instead, I want to show you what David did in this particular psalm that focused from his depression to the answer. He begins in verse number 1 by saying, O Lord, hear my prayer. Listen to my cry for mercy. He calls upon the Lord that he says will hear him and hear his cry. He says, in your faithfulness and righteousness, come to my relief. Do not bring your servant into judgment, for no one living is righteous before you. The enemy pursues me. He crushes me to the ground. He makes me dwell in darkness like those long dead. So my spirit grows faint within me. My heart within me is dismayed. I remember the days of long ago. I meditate on all your works and consider what your hands have done. I spread out my hands to you. My soul thirsts for you like a parched land. Answer me quickly, O Lord. My spirit fails. Do not hide your face from me, or I will be like those who go down into the pit. Let the morning bring me word of your unfailing love, for I have put my trust in you. Show me the way I should go, for to you I lift up my soul. Rescue me from my enemies, O Lord, for I hide myself in you. Teach me to do your will, for you are my God. May your good spirit lead me on level ground. For your name's sake, O Lord, preserve my life, and in your righteousness bring me out of trouble. In your unfailing love, silence my enemies, destroy all of my foes, for I am your servant. Here's a beautiful prayer expressed to the Lord, looking to the answer, not focusing on the problem. Now, he mentions the problem over and over in his prayer, but look what he's doing with it. He's casting it upon the Lord. Now remember, worship being an answer for what's going on in our life means that we focus our love upon God. One definition of worship is just expressing love to God. And as we do that, we begin to grow stronger in his love and an understanding of that love. Reminds me of 1 Corinthians chapter 13. And in that definition that Paul gives us of worship, a passage we often read at weddings, for example, it describes some of the things that love is. You remember what some of those are? Love is patient. Love is kind. Love keeps no record of wrongs. It's not rejoicing in evil. Love endures. Love perseveres. These are some of the things we see are characteristics of the agape love of God. So don't you think it's important for us to express our love to God, then receive his love, and thereby receive those very character qualities that will allow us, with the strength of his Spirit, to carry on and to move forward with our lives. Oh, listen, don't let circumstances get you down in these days. Instead, look to the Lord. Worship him in spirit and in truth. Now, I know that's harder for some of you in some places than in others. In our particular town, we're in a state that has a great deal of appreciation for the church and the freedom of worship here. We've been worshiping every Lord's Day, even since this broke out in some way, shape, or form. We will have great weather this Sunday for another drive-in worship service in our parking lot. And we'll have a full praise team, socially distanced, of course, that's out there singing praises to the Lord as we worship and love him publicly and gain a lot of strength from that experience. But you may be in a position where you can't do that. Depending on what state or country you're in, you may be almost in a total lockdown. You may be trapped in your little apartment and told you cannot go outside for anything. And so if you're in one of those situations, should you despair and fall into even deeper depression, because of the wonderful gift of the internet, you are watching me right now, wherever you are. That means you can access all kinds of positive worship events and times in which you can join with the people from all over the world expressing your love to God. You can worship in ways you never imagined before. Now, you can make the choice. You can choose to spend your time while you are in this self-imposed quarantine or lockdown or whatever you want to call it. You can choose to focus on the negative. You can run the endless news stories and believe every controversy and every conspiracy. You can dwell on all the negative headlines, or you can spend more time in worship, in praying, in growing stronger in your spirit, so that when it's time for you to get out, you will have everything that you need. And that's kind of my point that I want to end on today. When we spend our time in worship during this time, then the power of worship will be that which gives you the strength to carry on. In the power of worship, you'll find God's strength and God's power, the power that'll help you beat any situation, any virus, any circumstances that are coming in your life because of it, whether you're losing a job, having to find a job, readjust to things in your life, things going on with loved ones, whatever it may be. Where do you find the power to carry on? You find that power in worship. So let's worship the Lord together, wherever you might be. And we'll do this again tomorrow, and I'll try my best to help you through as we wake up in the Word. God bless you.